of the most remote and inhospitable jungles on the planet, in eastern Paraguay, lives a legendary tribe known as the Aché, an ancient ethnic group that preserves ancestral traditions, such as that during her fertile period, a woman may have relations with several men, with the aim of increasing the likelihood of pregnancy and improving the constitution of the child, in a practice known as shared paternity. Some Aché believe that in order to conceive a child completely, it is ideal for several men to participate and be recognized as fathers, contributing to the well-being of the child and mother, and thus strengthening family and community ties. In this wild kingdom, children are taken into the jungle to learn how to survive and hunt the fiercest predators as part of a rite of passage, while the men, who may have several wives at once, hunt monkeys using bows and arrows and blowguns with darts poisoned with curare, the same weapons they have used for centuries. A tribe of hunters who do not understand jealousy and shy away from death for fear of a spirit they consider alive. A fear that has a lot to do with the fact that until a few years ago they protected their domain with their lives, as modern society has almost led them to extinction. Pay attention and don't miss this new video from Uncensored World to delve into the heart of one of the most fascinating tribes on the planet. Let's get started. Deep in the vast and wild jungle of eastern Paraguay lives one of the most enigmatic and fascinating tribes in South America, the Aché. An ancestral people who have lived for generations in the heart of the Atlantic forest, in an ecosystem so dense and diverse that many consider it impenetrable and almost magical. The landscape that surrounds them is a labyrinth of ancient trees, winding rivers, hanging vines, and the sounds of birds and monkeys intertwined with the whisper of the jungle. Every corner seems to hold ancient secrets that the Aché know better than anyone else. Their name, Aché, roughly translates as people of the forest, or true people, reflecting their deep connection to the environment they inhabit and their identity as a hunter-gatherer people. This tribe maintains a lifestyle that seems frozen in time. They live as they did thousands of years ago, relying on hunting, gathering, and fishing for food, guided by an ancestral knowledge of the forest and its resources. Unlike other Amazonian cultures, the Aché did not domesticate animals or cultivate large tracts of land. For them, the forest provides everything: food, shelter, medicine, and above all, lessons in survival. Their history is intense and painful. They were discovered by modern society in the mid-20th century, at which point they faced near complete extinction due to attacks, disease, and forced displacement. Some Aché groups, however, managed to protect their territories with their own lives, avoiding contact and keeping their traditions intact, resisting external threats, and preserving the independence of their world. One of the most fascinating and mysterious traditions of the Aché are their initiation rites for children and adolescents, which combine danger, learning, and mysticism. The young people do not face the jungle alone, but must travel unknown routes, cross rivers, and evade predators, while being guided by a group of carefully chosen adults who teach them to read animal and plant signs, detect natural traps, and use their senses to anticipate any danger. During these intense experiences, young Aché learn to hunt with bows and arrows, equipped with darts poisoned with curare, tracking monkeys and other animals as their ancestors did for centuries. They are taught not only to survive, but to understand that every mistake can cost them their lives, turning the jungle into a true teacher of respect and discipline. These rites also reinforce values of cooperation, resilience, and loyalty, and some practices, such as the choice of who will guide each young person, reflect complex social hierarchies and family alliances that determine their future position within the tribe. This society is surely an example for many modern societies, as equality and respect are fundamental values here. Among the Aché, there are no rigid hierarchies or birth privileges. All members of the community, men and women, actively participate in the life of the group, from hunting to decision-making and childcare. This philosophy is evident both in daily life and in their relationship with nature and with each other. Cooperation and mutual aid are essential for survival in such a demanding environment. Even the way they dress reflects this approach, as their clothing is minimal and functional, adapted to the climate and the jungle, with no symbols of status or hierarchy. Their clothing, or lack thereof, has no intimate connotations and is simply designed to cover what is necessary and allow freedom of movement for hunting and other daily tasks. For millennia, this tribe has worn very little clothing, usually loincloths for men and simple skirts for women, adapted to life in the jungle, often with nothing on top. This type of clothing responds to functionality and tradition. In addition, the Aché use body paints made from plants and natural pigments, used in both rituals and everyday life. For them, the paints serve to mark group identity, express emotional states, or prepare for ceremonies. This combination of minimal clothing and body paint reflects a view of the body as something natural and practical, in total harmony with its environment, and shows that their culture does not base social value on appearance or external status, but on contribution to the group. Among the Aché, the human body is perceived as an entity in harmony with life in the jungle. For them, nudity is not considered shameful, but simply a part of everyday life. This view allows for an open and respectful relationship with one's own body and that of others. Intimate life is also seen as a natural activity within social life, another expression of human interaction and bonding between community members, understood as part of coexistence and reproduction within the group. For all these reasons, among the Aché there is a great tolerance towards female sexuality, which meant that women could exercise their freedom and decide with whom to establish intimate relationships, always within the norms of respect and coexistence. For millennia, these relationships were not focused on display or status, but on strengthening bonds, family alliances, and community cohesion. For this reason, for millennia, this society has preserved one of its most fascinating and controversial traditions regarding intimate life, fertility, and the role of women, what is known as shared paternity, which in the Aché language is called koro, a practice whereby several men can be considered socially responsible for the same child, even before the child is born. But before we delve into the details of shared paternity, let's explore another equally fascinating and controversial tradition, this time related to death, the spiritual world, and the way the Aché related to those who had passed away. Historically, the Aché have maintained some truly curious funeral customs. They believe that when someone dies, the group must leave the place of death and never return, leaving behind houses and territories, as if the act of abandoning the place helped to separate the living from the powerful presence of the deceased. In some ancient accounts, it is mentioned that they often even burn the belongings of the deceased, preventing any object from retaining their spirit, and thus preventing a return that could affect those who are still alive. This gesture, although radical for most of us, has a sense of spiritual and social protection for them, as it makes them believe that in this way, the community will continue its life without danger. All this is because the Aché consider the dead to be powerful and potentially dangerous in the spiritual world. For them, death is not a passive or silent event, but involves a shift in forces and energies that can influence the life of the community. This view explains why certain practices, which today seem extreme to us, are essential to maintaining the balance and security of groups such as this, whose reality is very different from that of most of us. These practices reflect the way the Aché interpret the jungle and life. Death is not an end, but a transition charged with power, mystery, and tangible consequences. Each ritual, from leaving the place to destroying belongings, has a clear social and spiritual purpose, teaching young people about respect, prudence, and reverence for the unknown. Today, although some of these historical customs are no longer strictly practiced, the Aché maintain a deep respect for the places where members of the group die and continue to regard the dead as present forces that must be honored and handled with care. In addition, the Aché believe that certain objects belonging to the deceased retain part of their strength or energy, so handling them requires specific rituals, which is why they sometimes decide to burn everything related to them. This energy is born with life, and in the case of the Aché, from a birth and conception that is surely far from what most of us consider normal. This brings us to one of the most fascinating and controversial traditions of the Aché, and probably of the planet, called shared paternity, a practice that surprises those who learn about it for the first time, and will surely surprise you now. According to some anthropological research, the Aché believe that during a woman's fertile period, having intimate relations with several men increases the likelihood of conception and strengthens the child's constitution by symbolically incorporating the qualities of all the participating men. For the Aché, this practice is not motivated by individual or selfish reasons, but rather by a deep cultural belief. It is believed that the participation of several men during a woman's fertility helps to strengthen the child, transmitting the qualities of all of them, giving it shared genetics, strength, endurance, and skills that will be useful in life for surviving in the jungle. In this way, both conception and pregnancy are understood as a community process, where responsibility and care are distributed among several adults, ensuring that the child and mother receive protection, food, and emotional support once the child is born. This would not be possible if, in Aché culture, jealousy were experienced in the same way as in most Western societies. Strange as it may seem, Aché men and women do not seem to feel jealousy. In this community, a man can have several partners, and a woman, especially during her fertile period when she intends to become pregnant, can have relationships with several men. This reality does not generate conflict within the community, because intimate life is understood as part of a social balance that strengthens the bonds between families and clans. It could be said that most Aché children share several fathers, and that many of these women also have several partners, although this occurs mainly before pregnancy, since the purposes of shared paternity are primarily reproductive. Once conceived, women do not need or want to have relationships with several men. Their intimate bond shifts to focus on raising and caring for the child. However, in these cases, several men are socially recognized as the child's fathers, contributing to the well-being of the child and the mother by offering protection, support, and resources. It may seem strange that men who participate in the conception of a child with the same woman, and who, thanks to shared parenthood, share responsibility for that child, may in turn have several wives. However, in this society, having multiple wives makes social and practical sense, as it allows each man to form bonds with different women to ensure the survival of their families, strengthen alliances between clans, and guarantee that all children receive support, protection, and resources in a balanced manner. This reality does not generate conflict, but rather reinforces the survival, transmission of knowledge, and well-being of the entire community. Polygamy and shared parenthood among the Aché have a direct effect on social cohesion and the stability of the tribe. By distributing responsibility and care for children among several adults, conflicts are reduced, alliances between families are fostered, and no member is left unprotected. This way of organizing intimate life and reproduction is entirely related to their way of life in the jungle, where helping each other is essential for survival. From an anthropological point of view, these traditions reflect how the Aché conceive of life and society. For them, individual survival depends on the group, and the systems of reproduction and upbringing are organized to maximize all resources, protection, and the transmission of knowledge. Shared parenthood is for them a mechanism that ensures the education, safety, and well-being of each new member of the tribe. For the Aché, the intimate act is not taboo and is understood as an act that strengthens the community, with the aim of ensuring the survival of a society that has been very close to extinction, rather than as something private or dark. This view of life also reflects the harsh history that has accompanied this people for centuries. The vast and wild jungle they inhabit is not only their home, but an environment that demands constant adaptation. Predators such as jaguars, snakes, and alligators pose real threats, while natural resources must be used with knowledge and respect to ensure subsistence. At this point, and before learning about the current dangers, including an evil spirit that lurks in the depths of these forests and seems to stalk this enigmatic tribe, we take the opportunity to ask you, what do you think of this tribe and their beliefs? What would you think if it were normal to have multiple fathers or share a wife to conceive a child? Would you like to be able to have multiple wives or not feel jealous? Pause the video and leave us your comment. You know that doing so is the best way to support Uncensored World, so that we can work every week to bring you content as interesting as this. So, thank you. Throughout their history, the Aché have also experienced conflicts with other neighboring tribes, fighting over territory and resources. These traditional wars, although less frequent today, marked generations and reinforced the need for cooperation, courage, and community strategies to protect both families and essential resources. With the arrival of modern society, the challenges intensified. The expansion of agriculture, indiscriminate logging, and the exploitation of their lands brought the Aché to the brink of extinction. Many villages were displaced, their forests cut down, and their way of life threatened by legal and economic conflicts, forcing most of the population to take refuge in officially recognized reserves. Today, most of the Aché live in these reserves, although their total population is estimated at around 1,800 to 2,000 individuals, distributed mainly in eastern Paraguay. Despite having been pushed into these protected areas by the expansion of modern society and the exploitation of their lands, the Aché retain a deep connection to the jungle and their ancestral traditions. Due to this reality, until a few years ago, there were Aché groups that avoided any contact with the outside world, which is why it is believed that there are still remote and isolated communities that maintain an almost intact lifestyle. This way of life and these traditions that you are learning about are preserved thanks to the contacted Aché groups that now live in reserves. But if we let our imagination run wild, it is possible that there are still isolated, uncontacted communities where much more fascinating and controversial rites and customs continue to be practiced deep in the jungle, preserving secrets that the outside world can hardly imagine. The fascinating thing about the Aché is that, even in these reserves, they continue to practice traditional survival techniques that date back centuries. Young people learn to hunt with bows and arrows, using darts poisoned with curare, and to track monkeys and other animals as their ancestors did. Curare is a natural poison that the Aché obtain from certain plants in the jungle, mainly from vines and roots that contain extremely potent, toxic compounds. Its effectiveness lies in the fact that it acts on the nervous system of animals, causing almost immediate paralysis upon contact with the blood, which facilitates hunting without the need to kill the animals in a prolonged manner. To master its use, they have maintained ancestral knowledge passed down from generation to generation, which requires precision and absolute respect. A detail that few people know is that, although curare is lethal if it enters the bloodstream of a large mammal directly, in human practice it is only dangerous if it is injected with the tip of a dart or accidentally ingested in large quantities. That is why Aché hunters can handle it with caution and know exactly how to prepare the right dose for hunting without risk to themselves. Members of this ancestral tribe also use curare in a ritual and practical way, chewing small amounts of the plant to prepare the mixture that will be applied to the darts. Those who visit the Aché can, under supervision, observe how curare is chewed and prepared, and even try it if they wish, without anyone forcing them to do so. It is a safe, educational, and respectful experience designed to understand the tribe's deep connection to the jungle and its resources. This opportunity to get closer to the Aché and learn about their world will be detailed at the end of this video, in case you are interested in experiencing it firsthand. The Aché know that curare does not kill instantly, but rather produces paralysis that leaves the animal immobile, allowing young people to learn to track and collect prey without risk of being attacked, and then eat its meat without fear of poisoning. This combination of botanical knowledge, hunting skills, and respect for the jungle is a fascinating example of how the Aché live in complete harmony with their environment and maintain traditions that have survived for centuries. For all these reasons, the Aché maintain unique social practices, such as shared parenthood and initiation rituals, which also reinforce cooperation, family ties, and the transmission of knowledge for life in the jungle. The reality of the Aché's present and past makes anthropologists and historians understand that the main danger to this tribe lies not only in the jungle that surrounds them, with its lethal predators and limited resources, but also in the changes that have come with modern societies. Deforestation, the invasion of their lands, and the exploitation of the jungle have made survival increasingly difficult for them, forcing the Aché to adapt without losing their identity. But for the Aché, this curse, which has led them to believe on several occasions that they will disappear, is due to a danger that goes beyond the rational, a much darker being, an ancestral spirit known as Anjave. Anjave is, according to the Aché worldview, a malicious and powerful spirit capable of directly influencing the lives of the living. His presence manifests itself in unpredictable ways. He can cause accidents, bring on illnesses, or make someone fall from the trees at night. For them, he is not a being who acts on a whim. For them, Anjave represents the justice of the jungle, a force that reminds the community that every action has consequences and that nature, as well as the spirits, must always be respected. This spirit is born from the belief that the dead do not disappear completely, a belief that we have only recently learned about. As you now know, the Aché believe that certain deceased people, especially those who died violently or prematurely, possess powerful energies that can remain among the living. Anjave is directly linked to these spirits, maintaining the power that some dead still possess and seeking the respect they are due. This is also why burning belongings and staying away from places where a death has occurred are part of the way to protect oneself from their influence. It is believed that Anjave can appear at night, in forest clearings or among the shadows of trees. And although it does not always do so in physical form, its energy is perceived through omens and signs, strange noises, restless animals, or unusual events that disrupt daily life. This fear causes the Aché to act with caution in all their activities, teaching young people from childhood the need to respect nature and their ancestors, and the importance of maintaining harmony within the community. Whenever someone dies, the tribe moves away from the place of death, burns the deceased's belongings, and avoids returning. In their view, not doing so could attract Anjave's wrath, as they believe the dead have power over the living and disrespect brings consequences. Interestingly, this fear of the spirit also shapes other aspects of their daily life. From hunting to gathering, the Aché act cautiously, aware that disorder or recklessness can cause accidents or attract Anjave's attention. For them, Anjave is not just a feared spirit, he is a symbol of the balance between life and death, between tradition and survival. As you have seen, the Aché are one of the most enigmatic and fascinating societies in this region of the planet. A tribe that, if you have come this far, you may be interested in learning more about. With this in mind, at Uncensored World we have researched how you can do this and enjoy the experience of visiting them and sharing several days of your lives with them to the fullest. To reach the country where they live, Paraguay from America, the easiest way is to fly to Asunción, the capital, which connects to several cities on the continent, including Buenos Aires, São Paulo, Miami, and Mexico City. From Europe, you can also fly to Asunción with stopovers in São Paulo or Madrid, and from there continue on domestic flights or by road to the east of the country, where the Aché reserves are located. Depending on your nationality, you may need a visa to enter Paraguay. For citizens of many American and European countries, entry is generally visa-free for a period of up to 90 days, but it is always advisable to check the current regulations before traveling. Once in Paraguay, traveling to the area where the Aché live involves a combination of land and river transport. Many of their reserves are in remote areas in the east of the country, and it is recommended to hire local guides or specialized agencies who know the geography, dirt roads, and rivers that lead to these communities. The jungle is dense and can be very dangerous for those unfamiliar with the terrain. There are organized excursions to get to know the Aché up close, which include guided tours of their villages, hunting and gathering demonstrations, craft workshops, and the opportunity to live with them in their huts for several days. The prices of these experiences vary, but they usually range from $500 to $1,000 per person for multi-day packages, including basic accommodation, transportation, and food. Some excursions offer the option of accompanying the Aché in their traditional hunting practices, such as the use of long blowguns with darts poisoned with curare. However, this is always under supervision and in accordance with their rules, as these practices are not entertainment, but part of their survival and daily life. It is essential to respect their customs, including the way they live with little clothing. As for them, nudity has no intimate connotations and is part of their ancestral culture. In this way, traveling to meet the Aché is not only an adventure, but a unique opportunity to experience life in one of the oldest and most fascinating tribes on the planet, immersing yourself in their customs, their environment, and their deep connection to the jungle. At Uncensored World, we hope this video has helped you discover and learn more about the Aché, one of the most fascinating communities on the planet. If so, don't hesitate to leave us a like and a comment. It's the best way to help us continue working to bring you interesting content like this every week. Or like this video you can now watch to discover another of the most mysterious and beautiful places on the planet. Click on it, you're going to enjoy it.